It's Daniel Mora. I'm a senior product designer with the Access Group GitLab, and I am going to do a UX scorecard heuristic buddy evaluator role on this scorecard. So the job to be done is when the development team wants fast and reliable environment, I want to install, configure and deploy my instance in a Linux platform of choice so that the team can deliver software quickly and efficiently with minimal disruption. And so I am a system administrator in a startup that is recently considering adopting GitLab. I want to evaluate GitLab to ensure that it aligns with the team's workflow before bringing it into my organization. So I've actually done a lot of this before to try and get an idea of how the process worked, and now this is the review of that process, or the overall heuristic review as part of this requirement here to create a walkthrough video that documents what I experienced when completing the job within GitLab. What I experienced here to begin with was that this needed a kind of a setup before it needed to get in order to get started. I needed to generate or provide my SSH key to Sung-Young so that she could create a test environment to operate in, because we wanted to use Ubuntu, and I don't have Ubuntu on my local system. So she created a server that I would be able to log into. And so in order to do that, I was given these instructions. So we start here with the Ubuntu environment. It says once you are ready, you'll go ahead and copy these command lines into a terminal. So I ran my terminal and followed these instructions. And everything was going okay up until this point where it says make sure you have correctly set up your DNS, change the this address to which is presumably this address in the process. And because I was not using a local installation, which these instructions here describe, so if we open these instructions, it takes us here on how to set this up. I would need to make changes in the code at this particular file location in order to change the DNS settings. You can see here what it looks like if it succeeds. So I immediately failed at this point in the process because this particular point right here after step 2, because I don't have a way to do this. So I spoke with Sung-Young about this, and she was able to get the environment changed for me following the rest of the instructions. And so after that, I was able to then continue the instructions, go to this IP address, and log in with the code that was provided. Let's see, it says here, it says this specific file will hold the password that was generated. I had to ask also Sung-Young for help on how to get there, because I didn't, again, this was an emulated environment and I didn't have this in a local installation, so I couldn't get access to that file location. So in context also, I am not a developer. I don't know how to make these kinds of changes at the code following these instructions here. Less alone in an emulated environment. So I think in this case, this example had two concerns that might have been problematic. The setup process required a lot of pre-setup, and then the process itself required a lot of customization, specifically with the DNS aspect. And because I was running an emulated environment, I didn't necessarily have the knowledge to make that change, or the technical expertise myself arguably, if we go back to the persona here, it says you are a sysadmin. So if I were an actual sysadmin who has experience with code and changes within that sort of problem, that might not have been such a big issue. So that was difficult for me. So generally, I think there's problems with the setup. Like I said, let's go back over here. The setup was not entirely completed, and then the installation failed because of that process. And I think also this could be better, the documentation could be better done, because it just jumps right into making the change. It doesn't explain why or what for, how someone would get to this specific file if they were not installing locally, if they were installing like in a cloud environment or something. So again, this is my experience. I think I would rate this as an F. However, I'm not sure if that's only for the process that we're looking at right now in totality in terms of the setup and the scenario, or the process if it were to be given to a sysadmin or a developer, would they have the same experience or complications? But so yeah, that is my rating. What else do I need to do here? Yes. Short intro. This isn't a how-to. That's fine. I didn't do that. At the end of the video, make sure you include the narration of the benchmark score. Yes, I've done that. And that's it.